So Chief Executive Carrie Lam, thank you for giving me the time. Today is a very special day for the relationships between Thailand and Hong Kong.
Yes, true. I'm very delighted to come to Bangkok again. I took office as the Chief Executive of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region 20 months ago.
Yes.
And this is already my third official visit to Bangkok. So that is a very good reflection of the importance I attach to relationship between Hong Kong and Thailand.
What do you like about Thailand?
Well, Thailand is a city of smiles, and right, a city of angels. So people are so friendly and so welcoming.
Yes.
So we have over 1 million Hong Kong visitors to Thailand last year.
Yes.
But of course, as a chief executive of Hong Kong, I have to look for business. So this trip is very special. It's a very auspicious trip because I'm coming here to open a Hong Kong office in Bangkok.
Okay, you call it a Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office.
Yes, let me explain a bit because Hong Kong is a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China. So we don't have our own embassies or consulates because foreign relations are taken care of by the People's Republic of China. But under the basic law, and that is this principle of one country, two systems, we have a high degree of autonomy in developing Hong Kong's external affairs. So it covers trade, investment, business, culture, education, and so on. And all over the world, before we opened this Bangkok office, we have 12 overseas offices. Within the ASEAN region, we have 2. The first one was established in Singapore many, many years ago. The second one was established in Jakarta, Indonesia in 2016. Originally, we were supposed to put a stop to the expansion because 2 offices in ASEAN might seem to be adequate, especially the Jakarta office was only open a couple of years ago.
Yes.
But since taking office on the 1st of July 2017, I came over to Thailand in August. So Thailand is the first official visit.
Right.
So because I met the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Somkit, even before I took office.
Oh, you knew him before?
You know, I was elected. I won an election in March 2017.
Yes.
And then April, Dr. Somkit was in Hong Kong on a visit. So he said that he wanted to meet with the future chief executive. So we had a lovely dinner, and the Deputy Prime Minister invited me to come as early as possible.
Okay.
So I came in August 2017. I had a very good meeting with the Prime Minister, Prayo, and he made a very strong suggestion that we should have office in Thailand. So I gave this my serious consideration and announced in October 2017, which was the occasion of my annual policy address, that we want to open an office, an economic and trade office in Bangkok. So here we are.
Well, I understand that first you thought about Vietnam as the third location in ASEAN. Why did you change your mind?
No, it's not a change of mind. It's a sort of assessment when you are given more than one option. Because the Prime Minister of Vietnam also made a very strong request. And I met the Prime Minister of Vietnam well before I met the Prime Minister of Thailand. Because when I was the Chief Secretary, that is the number 2 in the Hong Kong SAR government, I made an official visit to Hanoi. And the Prime Minister had a very good meeting with me as well. And one of the things we discussed is an office in Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh. And so after I came to Bangkok and had this meeting with Prime Minister, I have to go back to revisit the plan. I have not promised Vietnam anything.
Nothing.
So we have open options to assess where to put a third ASEAN office. But I would say that the most important decision is to go for a third office. As I mentioned, Jakarta office was only up and running in 2016. So within less than 2 years to open another office.
Must be very good reason.
Yeah, you must have very good reasons. So finally, I decided that it should be in Bangkok, partly because Hong Kong and Thailand have very close relationships. Thailand used to be our number 2 trading partner in ASEAN, although last year it dropped a bit. Not that it dropped, but Malaysia has come up faster.
Right.
So Thailand is now the 3rd largest merchandise trading partner of Hong Kong within the ASEAN region. But on an ongoing basis, Hong Kong and Thailand are very close in trade and investment. And secondly, I think this is also a very important factor in my consideration, is a person-to-person bond between Hong Kong and Thailand. I'm sure you know there's a lot of Hong Kong people settling down in Thailand, a lot of Thai families that have a very strong presence in Hong Kong. And people-to-people travel very frequent. As I mentioned last year, over 1 million Hong Kong visitors coming to Thailand. There are over 250 passenger flights every week to several destinations in Thailand. So when we want to do more business and cooperation, this people-to-people bond and friendship, in my view, is very important. So I would say that that is one of the determining factors. But the support given by the Thai government is remarkable. That's why we could have this office set up within a period of only 17 months.
Well, Thai people used to go to Hong Kong to shop, shopping paradise, even today.
Yes.
But now I hope that Bangkok could be a shopping paradise for Hong Kong people too.
I'm sure it already is otherwise. So this 1 million visits from Hong Kong to Thailand, because the other way around was only about 500,000.
That's
so
right.
we have more Hong Kong.
So
and we are 7.4 million city.
That's right, that's right.
Thailand is much larger.
Well, you need to bring more Thai tourists to Hong Kong.
Well, we are happy to. The presence of an economic and trade office does make a difference, because we would be doing more promotions. We will help to build more relationship, whether it's trade, investment, technology, creative industries, design, education. So with all these collaboration, there will be the need for more flows of people between the two places. So I'm sure the numbers will grow.
The Thai side call this the strategic partnership. Viewing Hong Kong as the gateway into China. And obviously, you also look at Thailand as the gateway into ASEAN as well. In making this choice, of course, you look into the future. Personal bond, of course, is important, but of course, the opportunities. What does Thailand offer you?
No, I think you are very right. In fact, that is always what Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Somkit told me. We are very strategic because we are not just two standalone economies. Hong Kong has always benefited significantly from the mainland China. In the last 4 decades of opening up and reform of the Chinese economy, Hong Kong has been used as a gateway for businesses all over the world to access the China market. And now we have even a more exciting project called the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau Greater Bay Area. So Hong Kong, Macau, the two special administrative regions, together with 9 flourishing cities in Guangdong, belong to a Greater Bay Area, where we expect to see some exciting developments like more integration in economic relationship, free flow of people, capital, goods, information, and the ambition to become an international innovation and technology hub. So Hong Kong will be a gateway. And also, I hope, a leading force in growing the Greater Bay Area. Now, Thailand, I don't know enough, but from what I gather, Thailand also plays this very important gateway function into the ASEAN region.
We call it
and in particular,
CLMV.
Particularly the mainland, Cambodia, Laos, and Myanmar, and Vietnam. So the two of us, if we have this respective gateway functions, if we work together, the impact and effect will actually be beyond our two economies. So I think this is why we call this Hong Kong-Thailand relationship a very strategic partnership.
How can Thailand benefit from the Greater Bay Area in specific terms?
Well, of course, that would depend on Thailand's own positioning of its future economy and strategy to achieve that economic objectives. But what we can offer to Thailand in the process of this economic growth is what we are strong at in Hong Kong. For example, Hong Kong is the world's #3 in terms of global financial center.
Yes.
So we can offer to Thailand, to Thai businesses, our financial services, the raising of capital, the management of risks, insurance and reinsurance and so on. Secondly is, well, as I said, is this easy access into the mainland market. Now coming back specifically to the Greater Bay Area, because it has that mandate to develop into an international innovation and technology hub, then if Thailand has interest also in these areas, like developing health technology, biotechnology, then you can imagine this is a very good market, a very good place to start with bringing the Thai business and technology to this area, and with that base to go beyond the Greater Bay Area into the mainland of China market. So by and large, I feel there are many opportunities for us to explore together.
Well, Thailand's aim is to become Thailand 4.0.
Yeah.
And innovation, of course, is very important. So I'm sure that there are opportunities for cooperation. We can learn a lot from Hong Kong. Also Shenzhen, right?
Yes,
You call it Silicon Valley of China. Hong Kong probably shares Shenzhen's position as the current Silicon Valley of China.
Well, we have this ambition to become not only the Silicon Valley, but maybe Silicon Valley plus
yes.
the Wall Street, because we have the financial center.
Right.
The San Francisco Bay Area doesn't have a strong financial center, but we have a very strong financial center in a city called Hong Kong. So the International Innovation and Technology Hub development will take place in a way that I describe like this. Hong Kong has very good universities. 4 of our universities are amongst the top 100, okay, and some of the top universities in Asia. And they have very good research and development capabilities. They have been doing a lot of basic research with new discoveries and so on. So within the Greater Bay Area, Hong Kong will continue to play an important part in the basic research and also in translational research. So I have asked my professors, you don't just do research for the purpose of writing scientific papers. You should do research with an objective of translating your research outcome into daily applications to benefit the people, whether it's in health, in aging, in city management. Are they listening? Yes, they are, because I give them the money. I see. I give them the money with requirement that you should do more translational research. So then from translation research, we can do incubation. Yes. We actually have schemes to allow the professors to open sort of a business. We will help them with incubation, with venture capital. And ultimately, they will need to manufacture the things that they have invented and translated. Right. And you mentioned Shenzhen. Shenzhen is a very strong city for advanced manufacturing. Yeah. Just look at the number of high-tech companies gathering in Shenzhen. Actually, beyond Shenzhen, there's also Foshan, Dongguan. They're all very important in advanced manufacturing. And then if they become very successful with their research, with their manufacturing, they want to grow their business. They need capital. Right. So they can come back to Hong Kong to list on our stock market to raise the capital. And from Hong Kong, they can go all over the world. So this is a sort of formula, you can describe it, to work. So we are combining the research capability with our financial capacity to grow these industries under 4.0 reindustrialization and so on. You could link that up with Thailand's EEC, the Eastern Economic Corridor. Yes, yes. Which will become our hub of the new phase of development, manufacturing, innovation, and the space and the seaport and the aviation
facilities there. Have you considered
No, definitely.
the EEC?
Definitely, because last time I was in Bangkok in August 2017, I was already briefed and introduced to this major national initiative of Thailand, that is the Eastern Economic Corridor.
Yes.
And I think we also brought some entrepreneurs from Hong Kong to look at the potential. So this morning at a seminar on strategic partnership between Hong Kong and Thailand, I did mention beyond Hong Kong and Thailand, we now have two national initiatives which will give us plenty of opportunities. On our part, it will be the Greater Bay Area. Yes. On the part of Thailand, it will be EEC. And then in common, we can contribute to an even bigger initiative called the Belt and Road, which now covers over 140 countries and international organizations. So we certainly love to play a role in the EEC in various aspects. One is, of course, investment. I see scope for bringing more or facilitating more Hong Kong investment to Thailand.
Yes.
Because Hong Kong now is the world's number 5 in terms of direct outbound foreign investment. And secondly is our expertise in infrastructure and construction. We have a very good rail company that have been building railways not only in Hong Kong, but in and managing railways in Sydney, Stockholm, London, and also some mainland cities. So infrastructure. And third will be in some of the what I call the city management expertise.
The urban development.
Yeah, the urban development. So on this trip, I have brought along the chairman and the chief executive officer of Cyberport. Cyberport is a place where we nurture and support particularly startups in fintech and in other application of technology. So they have signed a MOU this morning, so I'm sure they will have interest to do something like Cyberport, either in Bangkok or in the EEC.
You've signed 4 MOUs on this trip, right? Mostly on innovation.
It's also trade. We have one on trade.
Yes. And economic development, of course. What is the next step then? Now that you have been here the 3rd time, now that you're going to set up an office here, what would this office here be assigned to? What would be the target in the next 3 to 5 years for this office here?
Well, we don't normally set a very quantifiable target for these offices, because otherwise we'll give them a lot of pressure. But they are doing very well, and the main objectives really is to enhance the relationship by, of course, we welcome investment to Hong Kong. So normally in each of these economic and trade offices, we will have a team from an agency called Invest Hong Kong.
Yes.
So for Thai businesses, whether they're big businesses or really very small businesses, or including 1 or 2 person startups, if they want to go to Hong Kong, then the Invest Hong Kong colleagues in the Economic and Trade Office will provide them with one-stop services to tell them how to set up business, where to get the offers, how to get the funding, and so on. So that's number 1. Second is, of course, promoting trade. I still feel we have a lot of opportunities in promoting trade between the two economies. And third, although it is called ETO, Economic and Trade, I normally expect the ETOs to also do a lot of people-to-people
cultural
work in culture, in education, in young people exchanges. So these are the areas that the ETO will be happy to do. For example, in ASEAN, started by the Singapore office, we have an ASEAN internship program. That is the enterprises or agencies in ASEAN countries will offer some internship positions for Hong Kong university students. So they come over during the summer or winter vacation to be attached to some of these companies as interns. And because Thailand is very strong in creative industries, design, post-production of movies, animation. So this is also an area.
Hollywood producers come here to get our post-production young people to do work for them. Yes.
And you know, Hong Kong is very strong in movies. We have a lot of movies.
Fashion, Yes. Yeah. So a lot of cooperation could take place there.
Yeah.
In the entertainment areas, in film production, and of course with the social media so popular, a lot of things could be done between Hong Kong and Thailand.
Yeah.
Right.
I also hope that your station could go to Hong Kong to do a documentary on Hong Kong.
Especially on the greater Bay Area.
Yes.
The long bridge and the beautiful scenery there, and also, of course, the economic benefits from this very new project.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to be there.
Yeah, we are happy to invite you to be there because we do sponsor and invite journalists to come to Hong Kong.
Yes.
Either to do a familiarization and reporting or on special events. For example, March next month, we will have this annual Art Basel. This is a great art event, I'm sure you know.
Yes.
And every year around the time Art Basel, we will bring in overseas journalists who have a special interest in art and culture. So they come in and cover the event and look at other arts facilities in Hong Kong. The art scene in Hong Kong will really grow in the next few years because we have a big project called the West Kowloon Cultural District. It's 40 hectares of site by the waterfront. Instead of selling the land for more office towers, the government has decided to turn it into a cultural district with museums, theaters, and music center. And we have just opened last month the first permanent performance venue called the Xiju Center. Xiju is the Mandarin pronunciation for Chinese opera. So it's a venue for the performance of various kinds of Chinese opera.
Well, Hong Kong is a very central place for both the traditional culture and also the most modern trends in the world.
And also the East meeting the West.
Yes. But of course, there are challenges facing the world economy today. With your expertise and your background, what is your take on the economic slowdown in the world? And China is facing an economic slowdown. What is your analysis of that?
As I have mentioned, Hong Kong is a special administrative region in the People's Republic of China. So we operate in accordance with one country, two systems. So we have our own trade policies, we have our own legal system, and so on. But ultimately, Hong Kong is a very externally oriented economy. So things happening outside of Hong Kong do affect Hong Kong. So last year, originally, I thought it was a very good year for Hong Kong because the first quarter growth in 2018 was as high as 4.6%. And that was very exceptional for Hong Kong's economy because we are a very mature economy. And in the past decade, the average annual growth is about 2.7, 2.8. So to have a year-on-year growth of 4.6% was amazing. But then no sooner than we have the US and China trade tension. So the quarter four growth was now moderated significantly to, I think, 1.3. So that is an indication of how Hong Kong could be affected. So if you ask me what will then be the response of Hong Kong, you cannot sit back and relax, you need to do something. And we have been doing a lot. One is of course to diversify Hong Kong's economy. So instead of just being a trading port and re-export and so on, and just relying on the Chinese market, we grow our markets. And ASEAN is a priority for growing our market. Secondly is to diversify our industries. So we are not just a financial center, tourism and trade, we're now doing a lot on technology. And of course, third is to establish our international network so that we are better equipped to face sort of uncertainties. And, but 2019 will still be a challenging year. So the government has a duty to ensure that we give the necessary support to the enterprises, especially the SMEs, and to give the necessary support to the people. We are very fortunate because over the years we have annual surpluses year after year.
Yes.
The last time my government has a deficit was 2003.
Wow.
15 years ago.
Well, since then
So,
it has been
yeah, we have
fast.
accumulated a lot of surpluses. So this is a time really to, one is to invest in Hong Kong's future,
Yes.
including education and technology. The other is to provide more relief measures for the people when the economy is coming down.
ASEAN is a big market. We combined, we have over 600 million
Yes.
people. So how do we intend to link up Hong Kong, Thailand, of course Jakarta and Singapore, and also the overall ASEAN market?
Well, we have signed a free trade agreement with the 10 member nations of ASEAN in late 2017. We hope that this will be brought into effect this year because each of the 10 economies have to do their own ratification.
Yes.
I'm very pleased that both Thailand and Singapore have already completed their procedures and have deposited their ratification instruments. When the other 8 member nations have finished their processes, then we will have an effective FTA and the related investment agreement. And once we have that, it will provide a freer flow of goods between all these economies and also give a high degree of certainty to investors to invest in the ASEAN economies or vice versa. So things are very promising, I would say, very promising in the ASEAN region. So we will work doubly hard in order to grasp all those opportunities.
Would the trade war between the US and China expedite or accelerate your cooperation with ASEAN?
It's quite independent of that. As I said, 2017 July when I took office, I have already decided and said in public that the strategy that I have just shared with you, that we need to be more international, we need to diversify economy, we need to grow our markets. So I wouldn't say that that was a direct consequence of the US-China trade tension, but the US-China trade tension will have sort of expedited not so much the government's work, but the business perspective. Because many businesses used to just think about investing and setting up manufacturing in the mainland of China. Now, after this round, they may decide to also diversify their investment and manufacturing going to other parts of Asia.
ASEAN is a good substitute.
In fact, many are going already. Many have gone already. When I went to Vietnam and Myanmar, on every trip I have been shown the Hong Kong investment in Myanmar, in Vietnam. But Thailand is, of course, a very close ally for many years.
Hong Kong is very close to Great Britain. How is the confusion over Brexit affect you?
Well, of course, there is a historical sort of legacy in the Hong Kong-UK relationship. And the UK is our 3rd largest trading partner in the EU. Again, there are uncertainties because of this Brexit in the last 2 or 3 years. But to us, it also presents some opportunities. For example, in the last 2 years or so, I've been meeting senior officials from the UK government and started to explore opportunities for collaboration after Brexit. Because after Brexit, then they can, on their own, negotiate. For example, free trade agreements and other bilateral arrangements. So I would say that the feedback I received was positive, but everything has to await the outcome of Brexit.
We don't even know whether there will be a second Brexit referendum.
Nobody knows. But what we know is there are also very close people-to-people bonds between Hong Kong and UK. A lot of young people were educated in the United Kingdom, so and we speak the same language and share the same common law system. So I think when the time comes for enhancing relationship with the United Kingdom after Brexit, well, Hong Kong will stand a very good chance to seize those opportunities.
So how has life been as Chief Executive since July
2017. Yes.
Has life
exactly
changed
20,
dramatically?
20 months of
20 months, yes.
Of tenure in my capacity as chief executive. I would say is very hectic, very exhausting.
Yes, of course.
I spend 20% of my time outside of Hong Kong to do my official visits to overseas countries, including 3 times to Thailand and also mainland. But it has been a very fulfilling and rewarding experience because I can make things happen for Hong Kong.
That's right.
And make important decisions for Hong Kong, just like setting up the Bangkok Economic and Trade Office.
Right. You had the advantage of having spent over 30 years as secretary for what administration?
Close to 40.
Close to 40
I'm very
years.
old, actually.
Finance, you have been in infrastructure, everything.
Most of the
almost
jobs.
everything. Right. What are the biggest challenges now in this new position?
The biggest challenge is to work with young people because I'm too old. I don't speak their language, I don't play their social media, but they are very important because young people are the future of any place, right?
Yes.
So if the young people do not share my passion about Hong Kong and confidence about Hong Kong, then that's no good. So I really have put in a lot of efforts to engage the young people, to recruit more young people into the government, to give them more opportunities to sit on advisory committees and so on. But we need to work harder.
Is it difficult to engage the young people?
I wouldn't say too difficult, but there is inevitably a sort of gap between us because one is because of age, second is because of the interest and so on.
Yes.
But I hope that all the things that I have done in diversifying Hong Kong's economy, participating in the Greater Bay Area and raising Hong Kong's international profile will bring opportunities and hope to the younger generation.
Are you coping with the technological disruption in a serious way? Because we are facing that very serious problem here, disruption of every industry.
In a way, yes, but not as great as in other economies which are very strong in manufacturing. We are not. We are 95% service economy.
Right.
Okay, so service economy, you still need people. A lot
even
of
the service industry is disrupted.
It will take time, yes, it will take time. Well, we're not going to frustrate these disruptions. These disruptions are unavoidable. But I would say that we can cope with these disruptions by ourselves investing in technology development so that all these technological disruptions will take place in a more sort of proper environment instead of going wild and then causing all sorts of problems to society. So fintech, biotech, germ technology are all the things that we are now trying to cope with.
So you are ready for this disruption, and the young people's new behavior also have sort of compelled you to change the way you work, the way you think?
I think this is a global trend. This is a global trend. Nobody could actually shy away from this, these technological advancements. So the best way is to make these technological developments work to your benefit.
Yes. Hong Kong is very competitive. And of course, it's still competing with Singapore as the financial center, as a service center. Are you winning or losing the war with Singapore?
No, we don't fight. So there's no winning or losing to talk about. I still remember Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong. He came to visit us a few years ago, and then he wrote on his Facebook that Hong Kong is a place where Singapore learns and competes, okay?
Yes.
We learn from each other and then we compete in a very positive way. So we learn and compete so that we can advance to the next level. But Hong Kong and Singapore are not the same. Hong Kong really has a major plus factor of the mainland economy. And the Central People's Government is very supportive of Hong Kong because the fundamental principle is to make sure that this one country, two systems works and works to the advantage of our nation and the people of Hong Kong and the mainland China. So we can always make sure that we have a strategic position within that bigger picture. I'm sure Singapore has their own strategies, but our strategy is to leverage as much as possible from this positive factor, but at the same time maintain our international profile.
Thank you very much.
No, not at all.
Chief Executive Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.